that I've prepared, Climbing Mount Everest, A Journey in Leadership. So I love this idea of Mount Everest. I think it's so amazing. And one day, I really hope just to be able to stand at the base of Mount Everest. Not even getting to the summit, I don't even care. Just this thing to be able to see one of them, just being there and looking at it. And this huge obsession with the Mount Everest came because I went on one too many dates and watched the movie Everest one too many times in theaters. So that's where the obsession with Mount Everest kind of began. So as I prepare for my journey through leadership and climbing Mount Everest, I want to bring you on this journey with me. So on this journey forecast, we're going to start off in base camp, and then we're going to go to the Valley of Silence, then we're going to go to the Death Zone, and eventually we are going to be able to reach the summit. And the summit is going to be such a beautiful scene. We're going to be able to be on top of Mount Everest. It's going to be such a joyful time for all of us. So first we're going to start entering base camp at the bottom of the mountain. We're going to start learning about leadership skills. And the biggest thing is inaction can sometimes be the most difficult but wisest action. So I'm going to bring our friend Eric Weinemeyer back to show us a little thing. He couldn't come to us this TED Talk today, but he did send me a quick little video clip that I'm going to be able to show you guys today.
Last year I kayaked the Grand Canyon, 277 miles through some pretty wild whitewater with my team. So I've been doing that since 1997. I've been making a life as an adventure. I lost my sight at 13 years old from this pretty rare eye disease. When I went totally blind, I wasn't strong. I didn't want to use a cane. I didn't want to learn Braille. I didn't want to do any of the things that blind people are supposed to do because I thought that would make me blind. And that would be upsetting. And so I just fell downstairs and bashed my head open. And eventually I realized, like, this is crazy, like, I'm going to kill myself. So I had to accept. And so I learned to use these tools, and I realized that, the tools that you use are the way that you connect back to the world. They're vital in every journey. That's a bet.
The next slide, thanks. Sorry. Awesome. So just to thank Eric. So as you can tell, he was blind, and he's been blind since the age of 13. But his inaction of being able to see never stopped him from being a leader in his own field. He was able to, as you can tell, he went on all these different adventures, and he never let his disability hold him back. So I hope, as a 20-year-old LES woman, that someday I can be able to climb Mount Everest just like him. So, back to the idea of inaction. Inaction can sometimes be the most difficult but wisest action. As a leader, sometimes as a leader, it's difficult to be able to lead. We need to make sure that we're not just holding back. Sometimes it's important to hold back, that we let other people lead themselves, because sometimes we overstep our bounds. Or there's things that our group is trying to tell us, but we're overconfident in our leadership skills, and sometimes it's important to step back and to allow that inaction to be able to be more profound, to be able to hear other people's opinions, and to be able to be a more effective leader. So sometimes the group can lead themselves. Even though you might be claimed as a leader or you got that role in the class assignment, sometimes you just need to let the group lead itself, because sometimes being that leader might kill ideas, so it's really important to allow that inaction to sometimes be that wisest action. So now we're going to be entering the Valley of Silence, where if your words don't stick, you haven't spoken. So sometimes we speak, and people don't really understand what we're saying. I'm not saying like your husband doesn't remember what you're telling him to go buy at the grocery store. It's more like profound, that you're trying to lead a group, and you're telling them to do certain things, and they don't understand what you're saying. And they might not remember what we said, because sometimes we just speak, and we add too many words, or we're not very clear. So we need to make sure that when we're speaking, that our words stick, in the sense that they remember what we're saying, that we can be more profound. And so sometimes for me personally, I just like to ramble. I like to talk, and sometimes during presentations and speeches and leading groups, sometimes we just need to make it short and simple and cut it down to the point, because then people will remember it. And sometimes those phrases, those key phrases, just need to be repeated a couple times so that those words are actually sticky. So now we've reached the death zone. And the death zone is the closest to the summit because it's the most important part as a leader. So leading upwards. Leading upwards can feel wrong when it's right. Sometimes as a leader, we need to press forward. It can be difficult. Being a leader is not the easiest position. Sometimes people think that, oh, I'm a leader, I can just delegate all my responsibilities. But in the end, you really need to unify your team. So sometimes it can be really difficult to do that. It is not the easiest task to be able to unify a bunch of teenagers that are in college, that might not like the assignment that they're doing, might not even agree with what the teacher's teaching. But you just have to unify and be able to lead upwards even during those difficult times. And so leadership is built on service. And as we serve each other, that's what's going to allow us to become a better leader. So for example, for me, whenever I'm trying to lead a group, I always try to put my best foot forward. I try to be able to be, hey, I can be the one most flexible. Or to be able hey, I'll bring treats, or I'll try to set this up, just so that everything can go smoothly. Also, it's a little bit of my OCD to make sure everything goes correctly and have lists and things. But I think that's really important, that if I'm serving other people in my team, that hopefully they can do the same to me, and that leading upwards is that we can do it all together and to be unified. And hopefully that's something that can bring my group together, and that's something that can make me a better leader throughout my day-to-day life. So finally, reaching the ultimate part, the summit, the most beautiful scene. So there's so many things that we've learned about the summit. The thing that gets us up to the top of this beautiful mountain of Mount Everest is being careful when we having that inaction. To sometimes let maybe the leader of the group be able to let that leader have the opportunity to have other people lead. Sometimes as that leader, we think we need to be on top of everything. But sometimes people have different things that have better qualities than us. Everyone's different and perfect in their own way, and sometimes having that inaction of letting someone else lead the group is better because they might be better in that one area. And those sticky words, making sure that people remember what we're saying, making sure to emphasize those key points so people don't forget what we're saying. Not like, for example, your husband forgetting to pick up the groceries or to clean the kitchen, as you reminded him probably a couple times before. From my personal life, let me tell you. And leading upwards, making sure that we're serving others, that throughout the group time that we're actually being able to be in service of others. Because as we all tell as leaders, when we know that our leaders are serving us and trying to help us to do better, we know that's going to be super helpful and that makes our group more unified. So summit. So hopefully, as I've explained all these topics to you, that they'll be able to be unified. That when you reach this ultimate summit, you get to be on the top of Mount Everest, you've made this huge journey, you've prepared for this for months, that it goes smoothly, and that you can use all these key terms to be able to make that more effective. So hopefully throughout the inaction, the sticky words, and the upwards leading upwards, it can help you to become an effective leader. Hopefully throughout your journey of climbing Mount Everest, you can be able to do that effectively, that people can remember you as a leader, that you can be more effective in your teachings or in your speeches. And hopefully for me, that one day I can get to my ultimate goal of being able to climb Mount Everest. And hopefully you guys can all join me in doing those journeys and expanding our leadership abilities to be able to complete the goals and actions that we want. So hopefully someday you guys can become great leaders, as I all see the potential in all you guys.